Chris, I'm your number one fan.
That's very nice of you. That's very sweet.
Chris, I'm your only fan.
Oh
Chris
God.
has OnlyFans.
I knew where that was going. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Crosscut. And yeah, he's a bit crazy, guys. I mean, OnlyFans, really?
Look it up, just saying.
I'm your co-host, Chris.
And I'm your number one fan co-host, Josh.
This week we're going an old school horror. We're actually doing a Stephen King novel. We're going to go with Misery. Oh,
Starring Kathy Bates as Annie Wilkes, James Caan as
you
Paul Sheldon, and a list of other characters as well.
picked this one because I don't know. I was
Wait. Can I guess why you picked this one?
why?
You looked at your DVD collection and was like, Misery. All right, cool, let's do it.
Well,
Because guess what? This movie's not streaming anywhere, at least not for free, or you gotta pay for it,
yeah.
or rip it off.
Well, how did you do it?
I'm not going to admit what I did, but I'm assuming you watched it on DVD or Blu-ray.
Actually, no, I do not own it, so I did some other things to watch it.
Oh, I'm calling the cops.
I never admitted to anything.
Did you do oral favors to watch Misery?
Fuck you. Anyway, jeez, man, I haven't seen this in a while, and I remember every single bit of this movie. I don't remember when the first time I watched it, but I remember how painful it got, how much you would feel Paul's pain during this movie. You know, that
Specifically, foot pain, or ankles.
especially foot pain, of course. What's your history behind it?
I have a fun history with this, actually, not just movie, what with this property in general. So
Hmm.
I read the book in high school, actually, when I was a junior in high school. And in my English class, we were like, okay, as a group, or you guys can read whatever you want, pick whatever you want.
Hmm.
And one of my classmates was reading Misery at the time, and then my group was like, should we read Misery? And we're like, okay. And so we read Misery, and it was great. I had not seen the movie at this point. This was I was a junior in high school, but I knew of the movie's existence, and I remember my one classmate. I think he was ahead of me reading the book, so he told me, or he'd seen the movie, so he knew about the ankle scene, the shattering of the ankles. And I just remember thinking, he's like, "Oh, it's so bad." I'm just like, "Oh, I don't wanna." So like, anytime I watched the movie, and I probably see the movie for the first time maybe a few years later after reading the book. And I think on TV it cuts away, so it's not
Okay.
shown. So I think it's on like DVD or like the regular theatrical cut that you see the actual, like, the
What go like this? Yeah.
right. And I think the first okay. So yeah, I read the book in high school. Then I'd seen the movie, and the movie's great. And then when I was living in New York City, I saw this on Broadway
Oh,
with Laurie Metcalf as Annie and Bruce Willis as Paul Sheldon.
interesting. Okay.
It was a really great show. Laurie Metcalf, who people might know her more from like comedic roles, like she was in Roseanne, although she's in Scream 2 as one of the killers. Spoiler alert. Anyways,
Okay.
she plays Annie, and she was fantastic, and it was a great show. And they do actually, what was cool about that set in the Broadway play, it's like a revolving set. So like the set would literally circulate as they're like walking. So there's the scene where Paul Sheldon is trying to like find he's like, Annie's out, and he's trying to like do stuff, and he falls out of
Roaming
his
around the
wheelchair or
house.
whatever. And in the set on the Broadway play, it's revolving as he's like pretending to like move around. It was really cool. And then they do the ankle breaking scene, and it was really, really good how they did it in the Broadway show. Like she literally hits him, and you see the leg go like, like that in like a live performance, which was cool. And then I remember I was with my friend. We were in the back of the theater, this big Broadway theater, and they do the shotgun where she kills the one guy, the
Sure.
sheriff or whatever. And literally they do the shotgun sat or like she shoots it,
Huh?
and this
He
thing was
falls down the
fucking
stairs.
loud. Well, not in that. I think he was just on stage and he like
Okay.
falls or something, but like the shotgun blast from the back of the theater, like you
Uh-huh.
would be deaf if you were sitting in like the front
Oh.
row. But it was a great show. Bruce Willis was okay.
Mhm.
He wasn't great. It's not really his vibe as a but I give him credits to try that out. And I think I read later down like years later that he might have had like a earpiece in and he was getting fed lines at times. And now it kind of makes sense knowing what he's going through.
That's true.
What but it was a great show. I'll never forget that. So yeah, Misery, I mean, I've seen the movie, the Broadway play, and I've read the book.
I've never read the book. I didn't even know there was a play. I only knew about. I mean, I knew about the book, but I've only seen the movie. I've always liked Misery and how crazy Kathy Bates is in that movie.
Well,
And
she did win an Oscar for this performance.
I mean, she's that good. And also thinking about like how young she was in this movie. Talk about bipolar as shit. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's like Chris right there. It's true Chris
Yeah,
vibes, you know.
I'm not bipolar. Maybe you are, but yeah, every time when she would flip to the crazy side, like you'd believe that you are terrified of this person because how quickly she changes from being all innocent and number one fan, very giggly, and like you murdering bastard. I'm like,
Well, even when she's giggly, she's still you can tell she's still unhinged because of
yeah,
like her humor is just odd. Like when she does like the piggy like
oh,
it's
yeah.
just very like off-putting and you're just like, okay, even if she's like in that mode or that style, you're still like something's off.
Yeah, you can tell it's like she's awkward and but not it's like a hint of psychopath, but not full blown out until she actually does go blown out and all that. It's like yeah. Yeah. I think the first shot where I was more like, oh, this is gonna hurt when he first comes out of the bed and he slams his legs on the floor. I'm like, oh God, that hurts. That looks like it hurt.
Yeah. This man was in some pain here, Mr. Jimmy Caan, Mr. Sonny Corleone here. Yeah, he does a good job too for his, basically being in a bed the whole movie, and he has to be the like very subdued, very subtle kind of like he doesn't get too emotional. Maybe at like certain times he will kind of like, go get kind of extreme like when she sets the manuscript on fire, but like
Yeah.
he seems like he stays very laid back for the most part because he knows he's dealing with someone that's unstable.
Right. And he notices that from the very beginning too. And like no one's that nice. When she's nursing him back to health, I was like, he knew something was off-putting about her from the beginning.
If
And
only she was attractive, then that's the kind of fans you'd want to be stuck in a cabin with. But
the one
no
thing,
offense, Kathy Bates, but
oh man, it's crazy. And I do like how he finds out more about her in her scrapbook. Uh, how
hmm
how fucked up she really is.
yeah, and I mean it kind of goes to show her character. She's a lonely person, and she has this parasocial relationship essentially with Paul Sheldon because she thinks she knows him through his writing and these books that he wrote, and she thinks she knows him because of that. And we do find out she was married and then divorced or right? That's
Well, she said that she was married and she left him. I mean, he
mhm.
left her, but
Okay.
most likely she just killed him anyway.
Possibly, yeah. But being alone and you're in, I think this movie's set in Maine. I would assume it's a Stephen King book or Stephen King movie. So in the wintertime, man, you're stuck inside, and this is
Epic.
1990, so you got no technology. All she had was her books, and that's what kept her going. And that's
Her
man,
shrine to him.
what a horrible time to be alive.
With your own little shrine right there with all the novels, his picture and everything.
Chris got daddy duties, so we'll be right back. Commercial break. So, if Chris is watching this right now because he is editing this episode, I wish he had picked Secret Window as the Stephen King movie because he had texted me originally and said, "I'm thinking of doing a Stephen King movie." And I said, "Which one?" And he said about a writer. And I was like, okay." And my first guess was Misery. I was like, "Okay." But he's like, "Oh, or could it be Secret Window?" And then he named a couple other ones. And I was like, ooh, Secret Window. Now that's a movie I have not seen in a while. That's actually a movie that I really like with Johnny Depp. And if you've not seen it, it's a fun little Stephen King movie. It's maybe a little cheesy, and it was like 2004, and it's got one of those like, fun 2004 twist endings, but I think that would have been my pick right there. I think that would have been a fun rewatch. Post Pirates of the Caribbean, Johnny Depp, one of his first movies since becoming the blockbuster hero Jack Sparrow, and watching him eating corn at the end for whatever reason. I don't know. I like Secret Window. That would make for like a fun rewatch. Anyways, Chris didn't pick that. He picked Misery, but whatever. Can't have everything, I guess. Here I'll show you some movies. This is American Werewolf in London. I just watched this on VHS the other day. The Wolfman, the original. And there's a fun little thing I was showing Chris. It's like from the year 2000. Universal is Halloween. This is like a promo for Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood back in the year 2000. There's a website. Can't see it, but I can see it. Let's talk about Misery again. I'm going to just throw out some facts. This movie was made on a $20 million budget. It grossed $61.2 million in the United States. Not bad. Chris is back, but I'm still reading trivia.
Well, that's what you were doing.
Just doing other stuff. All right, Chris, back to Misery. What do you got? I was just talking about how Secret Window would have been a more fun choice, but whatever. Do you know who the DP of this movie is?
Who?
Barry Sonnenfeld.
That sounds familiar. Who is that?
Barry Sonnenfeld, who's directed such films as The Addams Family and The Addams Family Returns and Men in Black.
Ah, no wonder I heard that name before. Okay, okay. I didn't know he did this. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was a DP before he got into directing.
I mean, the director, I think I've only seen maybe three movies. This one, Stand By Me.
I mean, it's Rob frickin' Reiner, man.
But those are the only two that come to my mind right now.
I think he did A Few Good Men.
He did that one.
I
Hmm.
think that was him. A Few Good Men.
Hmm.
Of course, he's an actor too. He's appeared in movies like he was in Wolf of Wall Street. He plays Leo's dad in Wolf of Wall Street. Oh, this is Spinal Tap. He did that. I've seen that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. No,
Of
that's
course, he was on the TV show All in the Family back in the day.
if you've never seen it, I think you would be on the edge of your seat knowing what the hell Annie Wilkins is gonna do next. You really don't know if you're watching it for the first time, I would say. Like what is she gonna do next? Is she gonna
Well, you also in the beginning you don't know if if she's dangerous or if she's just a little
crazy?
odd and weird socially. And then it's
Hmm.
pretty evident in the beginning that she's slightly violent towards Paul. She slams the book on him
Right.
when he's or no, not the book. It was the typewriter, wasn't it? Or what
No,
did she
the
slam on
it
his legs? Was it the book or the manuscript?
was it was his the manuscript. That was the first thing she slams on him.
Yeah.
Then it was um the box of
I'm
paper.
thinking of the box of paper. I'm thinking of the end of the movie. He hits her with the typewriter.
Yeah, it was the typewriter, but the only thing on his legs that she does is, yeah, it's the box of paper and his manuscript, as far as I remember.
Yeah, so she's showing these microaggression, violent tendencies towards him until obviously the big, she sets, the log or whatever in between his legs and it's sledgehammer time.
Yep,
You
the
know,
hole. I remember it every time I watched that movie as a kid. It was like I could feel the pain and just seeing the like ah.
Yeah, I'm gonna change his name to Derrick Rose with the amount of ankle injuries he's had.
I really like this movie. I always have. Mhm.
I would put Misery up there as one of the better adaptations. Actually, probably starting around Stand By Me, going into Shawshank, Green Mile. Yeah, and then in the 2000s, these adaptations they started to go not as good.
90s, it still did pretty well.
I'm talking about 2000s.
I know I said in the 90s.
Yeah, 90s was good. His movies were actually like critically acclaimed
Hmm.
for, well, I mean not all of them, but yeah, for the most part you had Misery, Shawshank, Green Mile.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then you got
It
Maximum Overdrive.
If you've seen Maximum Overdrive, it correlates to Misery because Annie Wilkes is the semi truck of
I
this
knew
movie,
you were gonna say
just steamrolling people over. But this is probably one of the few Stephen King movies that's actually won an Oscar. Like Shawshank and Green Mile, I think they were both
that.
nominated but never won. And I think Stand By Me might have been nominated for an Oscar as well. I'm going to look it up.
Is this
But this
one?
might have been the only one that actually won an Oscar.
I've always enjoyed Stephen King movies. I always have. I've never read any of his books, not one. Well, I know my brother had it, and I was tempted
That's
to.
a long ass book.
No, it is. It's like this thick. I'm like, I don't know. I think it was because of how big it was. I decided not wanting to read it, and then my brother got it on VHS, and he kept saying like, "You're not watching this until you're older." I'm like,
Mm.
"Why? It's scary." Like, hmm. And of course, I watched it by myself in the afternoon because n no one else was around. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pop it in, and I regretted it instantly.
Because we all float down here, Chris.
Hmm.
Yeah, I want to say Misery might have been his only movie adaptation to win an Oscar.
Hmm. Okay.
It's funny we were talking about Stephen King though, because I rewatched The Running Man not that long ago, the Schwarzenegger movie from the
Wow.
80s. Do you know that's a Stephen King
Yeah, I
book,
knew that.
right?
I knew that one.
But
I've
it's not
seen
Stephen
it.
King. So he used an alias for that, Richard Bachman.
Oh yeah.
So he has a series of books that he wasn't even Stephen King on. He just used like his alter ego or alias or whatever you want to call
Yeah,
it,
I
Richard
remember that.
Bachman. So,
Yeah, he did a few of them like that.
but man, that's a great. I love The Running Man, and they got the remake coming out this
I forgot about that they were doing a remake of that. Yeah.
yeah, that's coming out this year. But that's a great movie. I just all the one-liners in that movie. Oh,
I
it's so
mean,
good.
there's also Schwarzenegger doing the one line.
Here is Sub-Zero. Now, Plane Zero.
Exactly. I love that movie. Just that dystopian future.
I've always
Yeah, I
liked
forgot.
movies like that, like The Running Man, Logan's Run. I've always liked those.
Here's a great movie. How do I forget about this? The Mist. That's
Oh,
actually probably one of my that's probably one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. That's a great movie.
I love them.
Um, Underrated one. I was watching this last year, 1408, John Cusack and Samuel L.
I
Jackson.
forgot about that one. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Oh, did you see
Um,
the in the tall grass?
no, I know
That
that was like a Netflix one.
it was a necklace. It was
Oh,
interesting.
great Netflix adaptation, Gerald's Game.
I s-
That movie.
haven't seen that one.
Oh, that movie gave me the creeps. You
I
wouldn't you wouldn't think
wanted
that
to.
you wouldn't think that a movie about a girl that's handcuffed in a bed could be that scary, but it is. And I will leave that one at this. And it's three words: The Midnight Man. Terrifying. Him in that movie will give you nightmares.
Well, I don't know anything about it except for the trailer, and
We're doing Gerald's Game next. I already called it. That's the next episode, Gerald's Game.
that's
We're watching
fine
that.
with me. I've been wanting to watch it. I've
So
been
there
wanting.
we go.
Anyway,
Gerald's Game it is.
back to Misery.
I think he was just kind of ready to like die at the end, and he just happens to like get out and make it. And
I
of course,
mean,
the poor sheriff guy gets shot.
yeah, I mean, come. I was like, well, I really liked this character. He was funny.
Yeah. And then it's kind of funny how that works, where it's like he spends this whole movie trying to like discover what's going on, and then he finally figures it out, and then it's like, boom, you're dead.
I know, in a shotgun to the in the back too. It was like, come on, man.
Yep.
But I like that it was that he made her suffer before he killed her with the whole burning the novel. Like, never gonna know, never not gonna know
Hmm.
the secrets of misery.
Do you even think he actually wrote a legit story that she would have even liked anyways? I know he was writing parts as he went along and she was reading them, but
He's
for the
reading.
ending, he could have ended the novel by saying, "Go fuck yourself."
It's a good movie. At the edge of your seat, I would say. I've always liked it. And Kathy Bates does an amazing job.
It's a good role if you're an actress. It's the type of role that you'd be like, I want to play that role. I want to be that lady, that crazy lady that
Ye-
gets to torture somebody.
Well, that's all we got for Misery. It, like I said, good horror movie. You'll enjoy it.
Anyways, make sure to like and subscribe and comment. Have you seen Misery? What do you think of it? Also, have you ever seen the show Castle Rock? Because I think they do season two. They actually do Misery. I think Lizzie Kaplan plays the Annie Wilkes character. So there's even more Misery out there that we can watch. Anybody that's ever seen the Broadway play like myself, give me a shout out. Bruce Willis, um, Laurie Metcalf, great show. Have you ever read the book? Let us know what you think of the book. Obviously, those big, thick Stephen King books are a lot to handle. And that's it for this week's episode of Crosscut. Chris, take it from here.
Cut print, moving on.